Beautiful. Okay, I am so stoked about this partnership, you guys. This is Clarissa. She was introduced to me by one of my dear friends of 20 years, thankfully. Clarissa does hypnosis, but I'll let her introduce herself to you. My name is Jen. I'm the founder and CEO of HighLive. I help women transform their lives by implementing strategies that are customized to their preferences, to their lifestyle, and of course, to their goals as well. I also help with nutrition coaching alongside this, and I dabble in a little bit of mindset work, but Clarissa takes it a little bit deeper. So I'll hand it over to her.
Just a quick testimonial for Jen as well about how amazing she is, of course. Hi, I'm Clarissa. I'm a clinical consulting hypnotist. I'm also a mental health coach. I work with a professional hockey team here in the GTA where I help them with more personal problems, some sports related problems, but I am their mental health coach. I'm a heart math interventions practitioner, so I do a lot of work when it relates to the heart and settling our heart down so that our nervous system and our body can find that cohesive, beautiful state. I'm the owner of Simcoe Hypnosis and Wellness Center, but most of all, my favorite thing is being a hypnotist. And I find that in all of my titles, I guess you could call them, being the hypnotist is my favorite one because it does make so much change in a person's life. What I do in a very brief description, we'll say, is that I walk alongside people on their journey to better health, both mentally and physically in some cases, through a future-focused, positive, and outcome-based approach. Oh, we've got someone in the waiting room.
Oh, cool.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
So once they're admit, I'm going to talk a little bit about what hypnosis even is, because this is the big question of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of people shy away from it. And it makes people a little bit nervous to talk about, especially because we've got stage hypnotists that make people dance like chickens. But that's not what we're doing here.
Awesome. It's fun. It looks fun.
It's fun and it's very real, but
Okay.
it's not what I'm going to be doing with anyone here.
Cool.
Okay, so hypnosis, the three main things that come to mind when I think about hypnosis and what I like to talk about with my clients is that it's natural. So we constantly dabble in and out of this state of trance or hypnosis or relaxation through the day. It's a completely natural state. So it's not something that is harmful in any way or something that's going to cause pain in any way. It is just a state that we exist in as we go about our day. And the perfect example of this is when we are, let's say we're on our way home and we drive 8 blocks, we pull in our driveway and we say, I don't remember the last 8 blocks. My mind must have been somewhere else. That's the state that we slip in and out of through the day. It's a hypnotic state, it's a trance-like state where our conscious mind is offline. And it's the exact same state that we utilize in hypnosis. Another good example is when we're watching TV or a movie and we all of a sudden find that we're crying over something that happened in the TV show, or we're angry over something that happened in the TV show. There was nothing in our waking day that caused us to feel those emotions other than a TV program programming you or suggesting you to feel that way. So that's the power of hypnosis, but those are the states that we drift into all day through the day, and it's very, very natural. With that, it shows kind of how hypnosis works, where we utilize the power of suggestion to make change in a person. The body is truly the robot of the mind. So as we make changes and shifts in the mind, the body is going to follow. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, but we make those shifts when we go into that deeply relaxed state and the conscious mind is offline, the same way that it was offline and you relied on your subconscious to get you home when you were driving and forgot the 8 streets that you just drove past. Okay. The next thing that comes to mind when we think about hypnosis is that it is lifelong. You can't unlearn something that you know. You can choose to not utilize it, but you can't unlearn it. You might forget the details, but it's always there, right? And so in hypnosis, what we're really doing is we're teaching you how to create this experience for yourself. This is a skill that you'll be able to carry with you through life. Okay. It's self hypnosis. That's what we call it. With this hypnosis or self hypnosis, what really happens is that we are shifting your programming. So let's say every time you feel bored, you go to eating. That's your way of coping with that feeling or that knowledge that you're bored. We've got two parts of our mind working at the same time. We've got our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. Our conscious is saying, oh, I'm bored. What am I going to do? And our unconscious or subconscious is saying to us, well, we normally eat, so you might as well go to the fridge or order something or open the cabinet, get yourself a box of pasta, whatever you want, because that's how we normally cope with it. But we shift those habits or that mindset through hypnosis and teach you how to continuously do that throughout your life as well. If you want to stop boredom eating, we'll say, well, what's a habit that you'd like to have instead? Maybe going for a walk. Okay, so we're going to put you into that natural state, give you the suggestion that you're going to walk instead of boredom eat, or however that looks for you. And then you move forward with that new habit. And because this is self hypnosis and this is something that you're capable of doing on your own, you can then utilize that for life in all of these different areas that you would like to utilize it for. Maybe right now you're looking at how to become a healthier person, but in the future you say, well, I'm having a lot of stress and I would like to manage that. You've got the skills to do that as well. And the last thing is that it's future focused. One big thing surrounding the mental health industry is that people are hesitant to go and see someone for support because they don't want to dive into their story. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They know what's happened. We've lived that story. We know what it is. What we don't know is what it's like to be different. Mm-hmm. And so our brain, just an interesting little fact, does not know the difference between the past, the present, or the future. That's why if I was to say to you right now, think about your happiest childhood memory. Bring it up in your mind, really get that feeling of it. And what's going to happen is your body, because it's the robot of the mind, is going to start reacting as if that situation is happening right now, because your mind believes that it's happening right now. The same goes on when we talk about situations of depression or trauma. When we're constantly living in the story of what's happened to us, our body is constantly responding as if we're there. So in hypnosis, and what drove me to this profession was that we don't have to talk about it. We move forward. We say, that's what happened. Where do you want to go? And because the mind does not know the difference between the past, the present, or the future, what we're doing is we're painting that picture of what it's going to be like when you're healthy. And we're getting the mind comfortable with it so that the body will follow. It's truly phenomenal. And it's a very different way of going about mental health, one that I obviously love because it's something that I do. But a lot of my clients have said the exact same thing. Like, we don't want to talk about the past anymore. Let's just go to where we want to be. And then we train the brain to go there. So I've touched on this a little bit already, but hypnosis helps in the sense that it really does allow us to shift those behaviors in our filing cabinet, in our subconscious mind. I call it the mental filing cabinet because everything that's ever happened to us is stored there. And we create coping mechanisms or behaviors based on that. And then as we go through our day, our conscious mind says, well, how do I respond to this situation? And our subconscious says, we normally do this, so let's do that again. Okay, so what we do is we put you in that relaxed state as if you've driven 8 blocks and you forgot how you got home, where your conscious mind is offline and it's not able to say, oh, you're unworthy. You're never going to be healthy. Look at how many times you've tried this and failed. It's not there. And so we can just insert all of the things that you actually want. It's a beautiful, very simple process. Here's another testimonial from one of my clients who was in a very similar situation. She kept eating things that she should not be eating. They were on her intolerance list. And she's like, I just can't stop myself. I just love them. What it turned out to be was that she was people pleasing. She was really trying to make everybody in her life really, really happy by eating what they wanted her to eat at family functions. She lived with her parents. So whatever mom cooked, she ate. And then we got her into a place of saying, well, it's not about people pleasing, it's about pleasing yourself. And that's where the consistency piece comes in. When we put ourselves first, everything else falls into place. So we're going to do a little test now to see how hypnotizable you are, to see how well you listen. And then we're going to do a quick little discussion on how the experience was. Okay, Jen, you can follow along too if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in.
Sweet. So everybody can close their eyes and just get comfortable. Okay. It's only going to take a minute, but begin breathing slower and deeper and more comfortably than you were just a moment ago. Inhaling and exhaling slowly and getting to that nice relaxed state. And in your mind, just bring up a picture of your kitchen, your own kitchen. Get a picture of it there in your mind. Picture yourself standing in front of your fridge. Notice the color and anything else that lets you know that it's your fridge. Imagine you reach out, give the handle a tug, feel the resistance, and you hear the pop as the seal releases. You feel the cold air as you stand in front of the open fridge. On one of the shelves of your fridge, you find a bowl of bright yellow lemons. Imagine reaching in and taking one lemon. Feel the cold, dimply, waxy texture of the lemon skin. Some people can even imagine the fresh, clean smell of the lemon already. As you feel it in your hand, you can tell that it's a very juicy lemon. Now imagine closing the door and feeling it magnetically catch as you walk to the counter where you have a cutting board and a sharp knife. Imagine cutting the lemon slowly lengthwise, and as you cut it, a fine spray of juice goes up into the air and drips down onto your wrist, feeling cool and refreshing. You hear the soft thump of the blade as it hits the cutting board. Now imagine turning the lemon and cutting the two halves in half again, giving you 4 pieces. And as you pull the knife slowly through the lemon, you see each little pocket of juice as it's dribbling down onto the cutting board, making a little puddle of lemon juice. You select one section of the lemon, pick it up, give it a squeeze to pop out the seeds, lift it up, tip your head back, open your mouth, and squeeze the lemon into your mouth. And now open your eyes and just notice if maybe you had an increase in saliva, maybe you had really dryness in your mouth, maybe you felt the need to pucker. You could smell the lemon, you could feel it dripping down on your wrist. Just share in the chat box or unmute yourself and let us know what your experience was.
That was such a sensual lemon experience for me. It's like, ooh, this juicy lemon.
What a juicy lemon.
Yeah, definitely salivating for sure. I felt that like instantly.
Yeah, the salvation is real. And it's really a testament to the power of suggestion and how our body is really the robot of the mind. All I did was tell you that you were squirting a lemon in your mouth and your mind was like, whoa, so your body responded.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
Yeah. Did anyone else have any sort of experience with that, Marie?
I instantly puckered up and made that sort of sour face. as if I was, tasting it. So
Yeah,
my physical body responded to it for sure.
absolutely. So you were able to listen and follow along. Your physical body was like, okay, there's not actually a lemon here, but it sure feels like it because the brain says there is.
Very cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, it's an interesting little experiment. Um, it's one that I like to do just to show what it feels like as well to be in that hypnotic state is very, very similar.
That
And so that's all for me. Next up,
cool.
Jen is going to take the lead here.
Yeah, so I told you all a little bit about me. I'm Michelle Marie. You're familiar with me. Anybody else who's watching, welcome. Thank you for watching the replay. Nicole, I'm definitely new to you. I just bullet pointed some things that you can expect in programming that within High Lift. So we set realistic goals that you'll actually achieve to gain a sense of accomplishment and keep the momentum going. So, a lot of encouragement and support that comes in by way of accountability in our community. Learning how to do less and achieve more. This is something I struggled with so much when I was wanting to get into the fitness industry. And Michelle knows the story, but when I was younger and I had three small kids, all under 4, at 24, I really wanted to start getting healthier because I had gained a lot of weight having all my kids back to back. So it was really difficult, but I threw in the towel because I just didn't have the support. Nobody around me understood what it is that I wanted to do. I was cleaning a house, I was feeding 3 kids. They were all in diapers at one time. I thought the more that I did, the better. So I also enrolled in 2 college courses, at the time. And of course, and then I was trying to go to the gym all on top of that. So of course, I got really overwhelmed and I was like, okay, my life is done. I have to wait until they're at least 10 years old in order to do this. And I had it backwards. And I see moms, whether they're little kids or they've got teenagers, moms are still struggling with this. So learning how to do less and achieve more is huge here. Learning to eat right for fat loss and stress reduction. When you reduce stress by way of lifestyle, you automatically start losing the fat. It's just a byproduct of it. So I never like to focus on weight loss because if we start looking at how to get well holistically, it just comes. Building strength, of course, gaining energy, gaining confidence, making empowered decisions about your food, gaining control over your hunger and your cravings. I always say this to everybody coming in. When you see people that look very athletic, they're not walking around with superhero powers like craving all day, but just like mishmashing it out of the way. They've learned how to control their blood sugar and they don't have cravings that have them feeling victim to food anymore. Okay. And then gradually implementing habits. This also ties in with doing less, right? Implementing small habits and literally keeping you in check so that you're not trying to move on before you ace all of the foundational habits that are needed to be successful. Improving digestion, improving sleep, integrating progressive exercise and movement is also key. We can tend to want to get in the gym and be like, give me the heavy stuff as fast as you can. And that can also lead to you wanting to throw in the towel and getting overwhelmed. Building healthy food relationships, which is also a big part as to why Clarissa is here too, because that can be very challenging to overcome considering our past experiences with food, our cultural upbringing, these social gatherings that we still find ourselves in. Food relationship still continues to come up. It's not just a thing of the past that we're trying to work through. And then also the biggest thing is really understanding and being educated on how food works for fat loss and muscle building. So you're not here just simply following a program. You're actually here learning what food is doing for you so that you can keep all of that information with you for the rest of your life and not feel like you need to be hostage to a program for the rest of your life. So with all of that, one question that I actually wanted to ask that came up for me, Clarissa, we talk about using hypnosis to move forward with things. I feel like when we're trying to get through like trauma or trying to figure out like why do we keep starting and stopping or doing all of these things and finding ourselves in this place where we can't accomplish things, we tend to want to, you know, tie it into the past and really focus on the past. So when we're using hypnosis, is it that we're avoiding our past, or like how do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's not about avoiding the past. It's more
Mm,
about accepting it and not being a victim to our past, which is really the most powerful thing that we can be. When we say, well, this happened to me, so I can't move forward in my life, we are handing all of our power off to something that happened a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes decades ago,
mm,
right? When we say, I'm not going to let that control me anymore, that is stepping into our power as a
mm.
strong and independent person and taking control of our life back. And yes, it can be challenging to say that that's possible, to think that that's something that we can do, but it takes, just like building healthy relationships with food and exercise and gaining control over our hunger and cravings, it's the baby steps, and it's saying, I have a choice here and I'm going to choose to move forward. I'm going to choose to maintain my power.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. So in moving forward with hypnosis, I know that a question is like, does hypnosis really work? Right? Which you did that activity, which I thought was really great. So it helps give us a sense of like this is real. This is your brain has the ability to do a lot for you when you learn to work with it. Um, but also the knowing of, you know, we don't have to dwell in the past and we can move forward and we don't have to be attached to these things, I think is so huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Our brain gets really comfortable in situations that are familiar. So if being in pain or living in our story or
Mm,
being sad is something that we're comfortable and healthy is something that we're familiar with, our brain is going to
mhm,
stay there. Even if it's not healthy for us from a bigger picture perspective, our brain is still
mhm,
going to stay there because it's familiar and it's safe.
mm.
So with
So
hypnosis,
mhm,
with hypnosis, we say, well, let's paint a picture of something new and get your brain comfortable going there. And that's going to be your new safety zone. That's going to be
mhm,
familiar and where you're going to shift to. Why? Because it's positive.
right.
Our,
And
sorry, one more thing. Our
go ahead.
subconscious, which drives 90% of our behavior, only knows positive. If I was to say to you,
Mm,
don't think of a pink elephant, you think of a pink elephant, right?
yeah.
So
Mhm,
it's pushing us to the positive, but we have to give it a reason or make it comfortable going there so it's long standing, so that we're always going
mm.
to be there.
Cool. I really like that. And you know, I'll say I was telling you this, Clarissa, that I didn't have hypnosis when I was going through my transformation, and so it's also really important to note that because of that, this took me years, like years of falling off and getting back on and investing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get to this place of consistency where I'm really happy with my day to day decisions about my self care, and it ultimately came from a place of deep desire. Like I could not stop thinking about the life I wanted to have. I could not stop thinking about the life that I wanted to feel. And so when you're coming into something like this, it's still important that you have that desire coming into hypnosis. So this is not the case where we're going to come in with hypnosis and like boom, life is going to change for you in an instant. You know, how much do you want this, and how much does it weigh on you now, and truly what it comes down to too is like how sick of yourself are you with where you're at. That's a big
Absolutely.
piece of this too, and that really drives desire.
Yeah, I like to think of hypnosis. We'll use the metaphor that it's a shovel. Let's say you wanted to dig a hole in your backyard and you went to the store and you bought a shovel, but
Mm.
you left the shovel in your garage. Would you expect the shovel to just dig it itself?
That's a
No,
good one.
you have
Yeah.
to use the shovel and dig it, right? You have to put in the work. And so putting in the work is practicing. The brain is like a
Mhm.
muscle. You deal with the physical body muscles, I deal with the mental muscles. And the brain is literally like a muscle. You go into a program and you work it out all the time and say, this is my new reality. This is my new reality. The exact same that you did when you were in that state of desperation, saying, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to look. This is how I want my experience to be. You painted that picture in your mind and you trained your brain on how to get there.
Mm-hmm. It just took a long damn time.
Yeah.
It took a really long time. So this is why we are so excited to come together to bring forth a phenomenal program. Strive is, it starts off with the basics. So we're not starting at level 5. We're talking about implementing strategies and habits in conjunction with the exercise of the mind through hypnosis to create lifelong transformation. It's exhausting and depleting to come into programs that start you off at a level 5, only for you to feel like, okay, I got here and now what? And, or I'm almost there, but I don't have the energy to keep going, because you're not continuing to focus on the mind development piece of this, and you're solely focused on checking off the boxes. It never works. It's the reason why the statistic of people reverting back to old habits, old patterns, and more excessive weight gain is in the 90% range of people who have taken on transformations. Within their first 2 years, they revert back. And it's because they're so focused on the checklist versus staying focused on the desire and the development of their mind.
Yeah, I
I mean,
can speak to that totally, Jen. I went
mhm,
through my own transformation and I lost 50 pounds because I was determined and dedicated. And I said, this is what I'm doing. I lost it. And then I hadn't had hypnosis at that point. I didn't know this skill. And so within a year, I was right back to where I started.
mhm.
And then I found
It,
hypnosis, and life has been different ever since, which is another reason I love it so much. But it's true,
yeah.
right? Don't change the mindset, then you're still resorting to old habits.
And it's because of that trauma and those old patterns. It's amazing that we're having this call, because I was just listening to Dr. Joseph Spencer, and he was talking about the same thing. And he's a genius in his field, and he talks about neuroscience and neuroplasticity. This time that we're living in, all these, it's all coming to the forefront. We're starting to understand that the way we feel has a deep impact in how we move through things. So we're no longer just addressing heart condition or, fatty liver. We're starting to understand that how you feel and how your mind is functioning is contributing to all of this that we're harboring in our body. And it's manifesting in all of these different ways. For some, it's issues with their period. For others, it's holding on to fat in their midsection. For others, it's trouble sleeping. All of these symptoms are popping up, and it's because we have gotten so disconnected from our mind. And hypnosis really helps bring us back to that peace. And then we tie in the body with it, and then we have ultimate lifelong success.
Absolutely.
So, this is what we got going on here today. This is what we're presenting you guys with. Go for it.
Did that work?
So, yeah, it worked. We've got a 12-week program, which is Strive. You've got double the accountability with myself and Clarissa. We are doing 2 weekly follow-ups, one with me, one with her. We've got personalized recordings that is offered by Clarissa with the hypnosis, personalized workouts, personalized nutrition protocols. And what that means specifically is we're looking at your preferences, right? So your likes and your dislikes when it comes to nutrition. So you're not going to be forced to eat like salads and lemons for the entire duration of the 12 weeks. Okay. We're also looking at your lifestyle, right? How busy are you? What can you handle right now? And what type of movement are you wanting to integrate into your life at the moment? It is absolutely pointless for you to go into a dreaded workout routine if it is something that you're dreading. This process needs to be enjoyable. So we're working on building those building blocks, and then daily messaging for support. Okay. So that just means if you are, going into a restaurant, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do based on this menu. It doesn't fit what I'm trying to achieve. We are here to support you with that. You literally have support in your back pocket around the clock for 12 weeks. You want to talk about your beautiful energy exchange? I'll leave that one to you.
Okay. So I'm just going to touch a little bit on how it will flow when it comes to the two of us working together and the weekly sessions. So obviously I'm going to be doing the hypnosis portion of that. So once a week for 12 weeks, there's going to be a hypnosis session. And that's going to be targeting things that you want to improve and why you might be struggling to follow up on the nutrition or exercise or overall healthy lifestyle that you're hoping to have. Then Jen and I are going to be communicating back and forth about each individual person and what is needed to help them move forward. So let's say you say to me, I really just want to start this out by going for a walk every day. That's what we're going to work on. We're going to talk about why that's a challenge for you. And then I'll let Jen know and she can add that into any plans that she has and vice versa. So there's going to be constant communication between the two of us, and you're going to get those weekly follow-ups with each individual person as well. Then we'll talk about our beautiful energy exchange. So what we've got here is we've got this package. It's the Strive package, and we've split it up into 3 equal payments of 1,333, because who doesn't love 333, right? So 3 equal payments. That's including tax, okay? Which is honestly a really big savings. So that's an overall savings of $1,690 if you were to book each of us separately. But because we've come together on this call, we want to say, have some value, get some assistance, please. We really want to help you move forward. So we've taken $1,690 off of that. We also have the option for full payment. And if there is a full payment, then you receive another $300 off, which is a total savings of just under $2,000, bringing the package to $3,699, taxes included. So you won't be getting any tax on top of that. Did I touch on it all, Jen?
Yeah, I think you got it all. I think, when it comes to Clarissa chose this title because typically you would see like payment plan, right? Payment plan, and then, or the money exchange or the cost, you'll see these words, but energy exchange was so beautifully fit to where I'm at with my journey. I can tell you guys that I literally have choked on these investments in myself in times where I actually didn't trust myself to go forward because I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be just another thing. I might fall off. And the whole thing with this here now is to start embarking on this journey of trust and also asking yourself, what do I want to receive with this exchange? So this is not just, I'm going to throw some money down, like I'm going to go put oil in my car and I'm going to hope my car moves with the oil that I paid for. This is your life. This is your best foot forward. And this is maximal support. So this is why we like to call it an energy exchange. This is not simply receiving payment. This is receiving energy that is going to be exchanged between all of us for a fruitful future. So with that being said, we will leave this going for the next 24 hours, you guys. Strive begins on October 21st, okay? So if you're interested in joining us and you want to take advantage of this energy exchange with myself and Clarissa that we're so flippin' excited about, you can, do you have the link, Clarissa, for the landing page?
I do, yes.
Okay, so we're going to drop it in the chat. You guys can grab onto the link. But also, if you have any questions, please feel free to come off of mute and ask anything that you'd like, or you can also let us know in the chat if you would like to connect separately. That's totally cool. Cool. So also, if you're on your phones, you would just tap on your phone, and then there should be 3 little dots in some corner of your phone, and then you'll see the chat box come up there. But Marie, you came on off of mute. No?
Oh, okay. Well, the hypnosis sessions with Clarissa, the once a week, Will that be like via Zoom? Because you mentioned there'll be recordings as well.
Yeah, so the way that it works is if you're nearby, I'm up in Simcoe, so Barrie, Aurelia, Midland. If you're nearby, we can do them in person. If you are farther away, we can do them virtually. But either way, in person or virtually, you are still going to get the personalized recordings because I have a recording studio that I record the sessions with, and I put some music in the background and I send them out afterwards.
Cool. I think Marie just dropped the call, so she'll catch that on the recording. Yeah, she dropped off. She just texted me. It's okay. We can yeah, I can let her know that info.
At least everyone knows that info.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions for us?
No, this was great. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thanks,
We appreciate you. Yes, thank you so much for coming out. You guys will also have this recording sent to your box as well. So Shad, you can certainly try the activity that we did to see if you're hypnotizable. You can watch the recording back. Marie is back.
Sorry, I dropped off there.
That's okay. So Clarissa answered your question.
Okay.
I
can go back and listen to the recording. Yeah.
It's okay. I'll answer your question again, Marie. So
okay,
yes, we can do in person or we can do virtually if you're close by. If you're not close by, you're still going to get the recordings. I basically have an audio setup where I will record it separately from our session, from our like virtual session, and then I'll put some music in the background and send it off to you.
Okay.
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 Cool. Okay, so if you guys want the link, it's in the chat. You can pick it up. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself on Instagram. I am at hylif.str. And then Clarissa is at Simcoe Hypnosis. Or is there dot?
No, just Simcoe Hypnosis.
Cool. Sweet. Thank you so much for coming out, you guys. Have a fantastic evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.